The Hunting Hour Chronicles, Episode 1: The Whispering House. Welcome to another story in the Hunting Hour. The countryside stretched endlessly beneath a slate-gray sky, dotted with patches of golden wheat and silent barns. It was the kind of landscape that seemed untouched by time. Nathaniel Carter tightened his grip on the steering wheel of the U-Haul as he glanced over at his wife, Lauren, who was busy entertaining their 5-year-old daughter, Emily, in the passenger seat. "It's peaceful here," Lauren said, brushing a lock of hair from her face. "Feels like we're finally getting that fresh start." "Let's hope the house is as nice as the photos," Nathaniel muttered. They had bought the old farmhouse online, cheap, secluded, and rich with character, the listing had promised. They didn't have many options after Nathaniel's company laid off half the staff and medical bills for Emily's treatments piled up. They turned down a narrow gravel path flanked by overgrown hedges. There, beyond a rusted wrought iron gate, stood their new home, a 2-story farmhouse with peeling white paint and ivy creeping up the walls. The windows were narrow and tall, the kind that always looked like someone might be watching. Emily clapped her hands. "It looks like a princess house." Nathaniel smiled, though unease prickled his skin. Something about the house felt expectant. Waiting. The movers hadn't arrived yet, and most of their furniture was days away. For now, they had sleeping bags, a few suitcases, and the essentials. Emily explored the house with wide eyes, running up and down the creaky stairs while Nathaniel inspected the plumbing and Lauren unpacked the kitchen. Their first night was quiet. Crickets chirped outside, and the wind rustled the trees. But inside, the house seemed to breathe. The floorboards creaked in long, exhaling sighs. The walls seemed to hum low and constant. It was old, Nathaniel told himself. Just an old house settling. But at 12:43 a.m., he sat bolt upright. A faint voice had tickled his ear. "Nathan." He glanced at Lauren, sound asleep beside him, then looked toward the hallway. The whisper had been real. He knew it. Padding barefoot across the hardwood floor, he stepped into the hallway. It was cold, unnaturally cold. The air hung heavy. "Hello," he said softly. "Nothing." Then, clear and soft, another whisper, "You shouldn't have come." He didn't sleep again that night. Lauren was dismissive at breakfast. "Old houses make noises. Pipes. Floorboards. It's all in your head." But Nathaniel wasn't the only one hearing things. "Mommy," Emily said, halfway through her toast. "The house talks." Lauren froze. "What do you mean, sweetie?" "It told me a secret." "What kind of secret?" Emily tilted her head and spoke with innocent calm. "That Daddy's going to dig a hole soon. A big one." Over the next few days, the whispers continued. Sometimes they came from behind the walls, sometimes from vents, sometimes from inside their pillows. Always at night. Always just as they were about to fall asleep. On the third day, Lauren discovered a narrow, rotting door behind a shelf in the pantry. It wasn't on the floor plan. They'd never seen it during the inspection. "Was this here before?" she asked. Nathaniel didn't answer. The door had a handle coated in rust and black stains. A sour draft wafted from behind it. They pried it open. A steep staircase led into darkness. Nathaniel grabbed a flashlight and descended first. The basement was stone and dirt. The walls were damp. Strange symbols lined them, crude carvings that looked like eyes, mouths, and coiled shapes that made his stomach turn. In the center of the floor lay a pit, 6 feet long, rectangular, freshly dug. The dirt around it was darker than the rest, almost oily. Like a grave, Lauren whispered. They agreed to seal the basement door. Nathaniel nailed it shut with planks. That night, it opened on its own. The next morning, Emily was gone from her room. They found her in the living room, sitting cross-legged in front of the fireplace. "Did you go downstairs again?" Nathaniel asked. She shook her head. "No. The house brought me here." The days blurred. Doors slammed shut without warning. Light bulbs exploded. Mirrors cracked without being touched. The whispers got louder, more insistent. They began saying names. One night, Nathaniel heard a raspy voice beside his bed. "Dick, Nathan. The listener is waiting." Emily began talking to someone in her room. When asked, she pointed to the closet. "It's the man with no skin," she said. He searched the closet. Nothing. But the wallpaper behind Emily's bed had peeled away to reveal the same symbols from the basement. Lauren woke up one night screaming, thrashing in the bed. "They were over me," she sobbed. Whispering about Emily. "They want her." Nathaniel set up cameras around the house. He reviewed the footage obsessively. 4 days, nothing. Then, one night, he saw himself sleepwalking. Standing in the hallway outside Emily's door for hours, whispering in a language he didn't know. The whispers became commands. At first gentle. Then demanding. One must feed. One must fall. Desperate, Nathaniel searched public records. He found a local librarian who reluctantly helped him dig into the property's history. The farmhouse had belonged to a preacher named Gideon Ashcroft in the 1800s, a man who'd broken from the church to form a religious cult. Ashcroft taught that the land itself was sacred, a place where the boundary between the living and the unseen was thin. They called it the mouth of God, though others referred to it as the deep listener. Animal sacrifices soon escalated. There were rumors of missing children. When authorities finally investigated, the entire congregation had vanished. Only Ashcroft's journal remained, filled with mad ramblings. The whispering one waits in the belly of the house. He listens. He feeds. He remembers. Nathaniel returned home shaken. He told Lauren everything. They decided to leave the next morning. But the car wouldn't start. The engine had been gutted. The phones were dead, no signal. The GPS showed their location as unknown. They began to walk, but every road led back to the house. Hours of walking, yet the gate appeared again and again. "We're trapped," Nathaniel whispered. That night, Emily disappeared. They searched every room. Every closet. Every attic crawlspace. Then Nathaniel opened the pantry. The door to the basement stood wide open. They found her at the edge of the pit. "The house said it's hungry," Emily said. The whispers were deafening now. The symbols on the walls glowed red. The pit pulsed like a heartbeat. "It wants someone," Emily said calmly. "It doesn't care who." Lauren screamed at Nathaniel. "We have to get out. Pick her up, just go." He tried to lift Emily, but the house fought him. Doors vanished. Windows bricked over. The hallway became longer. The stairs melted into the wall. Then he heard it again, a whisper from within his own skull. His own voice. "You know what must be done. You've always known." He stumbled backward, dropped to his knees at the pit's edge. Emily stared down into the darkness, unafraid. Lauren grabbed a kitchen knife, slashing at the walls, screaming, "We won't give you our daughter." The house roared. 1,000 voices crying out in hunger. The light bulbs burst. The walls bled. Lauren fell to her knees, choking on invisible smoke. Then silence. The next morning, the house stood quiet. Nathaniel sat at the edge of the pit, hollow-eyed. Emily stood beside him, holding his hand. Down in the hole, something moved. It shifted. It breathed. A door reappeared in the entryway. Sunlight trickled through. The front lawn was calm. Birds chirped again. A stranger driving by, a mail carrier, stopped to check on the property. The door was ajar. He stepped inside. There was no one in the house, no sign of the family. Except for a child's drawing on the floor. It showed a man and a little girl standing beside a deep hole. Around them, black figures with long arms and hollow eyes loomed. At the bottom of the pit, a red eye stared upward. In the corner of the drawing were words scribbled in crayon. Shush. He's still listening.